Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com and welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I have a fun watercolor video for you guys featuring Kraftin Kimmie stamps. I have painted this on Arches 140-pound cold press watercolor paper using this Buddy Bear stamp set from Kraftin Kimmie. I think it's absolutely adorable. Those are all my Daniel Smith watercolors. I am going to stamp this one out using the marvelous Mocha ink. It's a hybrid ink from Kraftin Kimmie Stamps. It is compatible with your Copics and your watercolors and all of your fun mediums, and I decided to go with brown for a change. I'm stamping this just using an acrylic block directly onto the paper. Lots of us have stamp positioners and stamp presses and all of those kinds of fun things, but you don't have to have one to make super cute cards. You can just use your old-fashioned acrylic blocks and have at her. So that's what I did for this one. So I've got that all stamped out and taped down to my board, and that is an Epicurean board. I picked it up at, I don't even remember, Bed Bath & Beyond, I do believe. So I'm just starting out by giving him a light coat here of a light browny tan color that I mixed up using, I think I mixed buff titanium and burnt sienna and hematite. Maybe? I'm not sure. I mixed a bunch of colors together off my palette. I didn't write them down. I'm sorry. So I'm just darkening that up now to give a little more depth to his snout and his tummy because I am going to leave those as a lighter color. So I'm just slowly layering those on, making sure that the paint is dry in between putting coats on. I did hit them with a heat gun in between, so I didn't record any of the heat gun action, but I did heat them up with a heat gun before I went in and added more layers on top like I'm doing here. I really enjoy painting in glazes and taking my time and not rushing through it and having all the colors blend. So you do either need to blast it with a heat gun or have the patience to sit back and let it dry, because as long as your paper's cool, it's wet. And as long as it's wet, those watercolors are moving and doing what they do best. So now I'm coming in. This is Hematite, and it is a very granulating color. I love granulating paints, and I do believe almost everything on this one was painted with granulating paints because I just like all the texture they give, especially when I'm doing bears and things because they're super fuzzy and whatnot. So I'm just going in and laying it out, and then I'm working on blending it out with just a damp brush in order to get that texture in there. So we're just going to continue going on through that through the whole image. It'll take a little bit of time. Have your patience. This is sped up to 2 times the original speed, so it's double the speed that I usually paint it at. I love this. This image turned out so sweet. So I am mixing, like I said, all those paints together and slowly deepening everything up with layers and drying it with my heat gun in between. Working on his little ears now, and then we'll go into the rest of his body. This stamp set is ever so adorable. I will have the link to it at the Kraftin Kimmie stamp store in the description box below. If you are watching this in the first week that it is posted, this stamp set is currently on sale over there, so definitely pop over and pick it up. I think it's super cute. The other little guy is a bear sitting inside of a wagon, and he's absolutely adorable as well. It's a nice sweet little 2-image stamp set. They're clear photopolymer stamps, so they're great quality stamps. I love Kraftin Kimmie. I've been a fan of hers and purchasing her stamps long before I landed on her design team, so I only work with companies that I love and stamp sets that I love. I mean, it's things I would buy regardless of being on a team or not. So those are kind of what I show you guys. I'm not just showing you, whatever somebody's willing to send me type deal. So we're slowly blending that out, working on his leg. Then I got his other foot to do, and then we'll go in and make it a little bit darker yet. Like I said, these take a fair bit of time and patience. Watercolors are one of the hardest mediums to get used to with the layering and making sure things dry and all that kind of stuff. So if you're just starting out in it, definitely have patience and just let the watercolor do its thing, because the more you try to control it, the more it goes off and does whatever it decides it wants to do that day. So now we dried it again, and I'm coming in and darkening it up one more time because I found that it wasn't quite as dark as I wanted it to be. And now you'll see as I'm dabbing with that brush, I'm not brushing directly over it. I'm just kind of like swiggling it around, I guess. Wiggling it a bit. It's giving me a lot of texture to make that bear look quite a bit fuzzier than he did before. Which is what I wanted, because he's like fuzzy and cute and chillaxing on his pillow. Hanging out, having a good time. Oh, just so you know, if you haven't already or didn't know, Kraftin Kimmie Stamps is having a retreat in November. I will be there. I'm teaching 2 classes at that retreat, and I'll be there for the entire event. Feel free to bring me birthday presents. I'm kidding. Okay, that's a joke. Anyway, I'll be flying out to London, Ontario to be there. So if you guys aren't coming, or you didn't know about it, or you haven't looked into it, or you're interested, all of the sign up information and all of that is over at craftinkimmie.com. It'll give you your prices and your hotels, and everything's that, like, meals are included, snacks are included, beverages are included. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to meet a lot of people and probably not color as much as I think I'm going to. How's that for what I intend on doing? So yeah, for those of you coming, I can't wait to see you. For those of you that didn't know and want to come, I hope to see you there. For those of you that can't make it, I hope you guys enjoy the video, because I'm teaching you guys similar things here to what I'll be teaching in London in November. So that's exciting. I can't wait to go hang out with Kimmie and the rest of, and a bunch of the design team and some past design team members and some people I've conversed with and stuff online over the years and developed a friendship with. So that's going to be super fun and exciting. Just doing his nose and the little spots on his feet using black. I really like that black paint. It is Lunar black, so it is a granulating paint, of course, because that's what I said I was using in this entire image. I really like granulating colors. What can I say? So now we got our bear all done. I'm going to wet the background here of the pillow, and I'm going to start just by painting it with a very light coat of ultramarine blue, which again, granulating color, and then I'm going to mix that in with burnt sienna and do some Jane's gray, which is her specific blend of gray, which is absolutely beautiful, and the reason why I bought these two colors. Initially, I love them outside of there, but that is why I purchased them, was to make my own Jane's gray, because I really love that color to have his pillow. So mixing that granulating color with that burnt sienna makes the most beautiful gray I have ever seen. I absolutely love it. You can see how I went out of the lines there. I just went in with some clean water and picked up the majority of it from outside. Ultramarine blue is a moderately staining color, so it does leave behind a little bit of that hue of blue. You can't take it all the way back to the white of the paper, but when I do the background around the pillow, you won't even notice it anymore, because I picked up the majority of it before it was completely dry. So now I'm just dropping in that gray and blending it out into the rest of the pillow. This pillow definitely took some work. I'm happy with it in the end. I really like the way it looks. It's got that blue undertone to it with a ton of gray on it, which is exactly what I was trying to achieve. It's always nice when things work out the way you want them to. Let's be honest, I put a lot of things in the recycle bin. Lots of things go in the recycle bin. And so we're just going to finish up the other half of the pillow here. Yeah. It's all the same thing, just laying it down in the shadows and blending it out before it dries so that that paint will move. You can see over here, I didn't get to it quite fast enough. It's already dried, like right around the bear there, and there's real tough shadow. I do go back in with some more paint here and just kind of soften that shadow out quite a bit. And I'll just keep layering on more and more until I'm happy with the way it comes out. That's the beautiful thing about watercolors, is as it dries, you can always glaze and layer over top of it just to achieve more depth and get to the point that you want it to be. That's the beauty of like transparent watercolors as opposed to something like wash or acrylic paint or all that kind of stuff, is you can just keep working it and layering over it and manipulating it until you get it to a point that you're happy with it, if nothing else. So that pillow, this bear is like the most, this is the second time I've done him. I did him in Copic markers before. I think he is the cutest thing ever. Now we're going to go and ground this pillow out, and I'm starting off just by laying in some Moonglow. This is I think almost everybody that uses watercolor paints from Daniel Smith has this color. It is like, it's a purpley, bluey granule. It's just gorgeous. I love it. I use it all the time. It's probably one of my most used watercolors. It does have a ton of different pigments in it. It's a convenience mix, but it's a beautiful convenience mix. I'm going in and just deepening up those shadows on the pillow. I decided it needed a little more contrast once I put that grounding in and realized they were virtually the same tone. I wanted the shadows to be darker on the pillow than on the ground. Knowing that, I am going to go back into that ground with some black paint yet, just to deepen it up right around the pillow. So I definitely needed to deepen up that pillow so it didn't look quite as washed out as it did. Again, it was beautiful before. It's all personal preference and working things until you're happy with them. We're all here to have fun and play with different mediums and what we love to do. So dropping in, like I said, some of that black just to deepen it up. It's a very washed out version of the black. I didn't leave it super concentrated. I wanted it to blend into that Moonglow. And now around the outside here, I did mix up Mayan Blue Genuine and then Manganese Blue Hue just to make it a little bit brighter. I didn't want it too dark because the grounding was dark and the pillow was dark and the bear was dark. So I just wanted to brighten it up with that manganese blue hue to make it a little more, I guess, bright and lively, but I still wanted it to granulate, so I mixed it in with that Mayan Blue Genuine, which is a granulating Primatech color. And that is it for this card, guys. I hope you liked it. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed these. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye for now.